video, we are going to try to take care of a bunch of stuff, okay? First, we're gonna relocate the oil and power steering pump cooler. We are then going to do some modifications to the cage to make it more accessible, make the car more accessible in the back and removable and all kinds of good stuff, right? Disconnects, all that good stuff. We're gonna go through that. Show you, kind of recap where I'm at, and yeah, a little grinding, a little welding, a little fabrication. Let me turn this around. I'll show you, kind of recap where the oil cooler and coolers were before I did the air intake box fab deal thingy. So stick around, let's get started. All right, so here's the condenser, sits in front of the radiator. I wish I had a tripod. My tripod's broke. Anyways, the oil cooler was in this general area. You can see where the old brackets were welded, okay? Cooling. So I'm gonna put it in front of the motor down low. Let me show you how far I've got. So in this engine bay, any engine bay, anything like this, relatively tight. I don't want to spend a whole bunch of money on these big coolers. I've used this on a previous build and I know it works. And so I just built a cross bracket, real simple. This is really, really simple, guys. So I'm gonna build another one on the front, and then I've got a little brackets that I'll weld on each side of this power steering pump cooler, and I'll have both my coolers here. All right, progress. It's the next day. Spent all day at Hurricane Harbor on a lounger. Got all these losers out there. It's happy 12th birthday to my son and all this cronies. All right, here we go. Let me show you. All right. So it's just tacked in for now. I think I might put some bracing there. So I've mounted to the front crossbar and the frame horn. Like I said, pretty simple. Might weld a nut to the back of that, so I just have to, thread a bolt and all that jazz. Anyways, that's where I'm at. Let's get it out, weld it up. So if you're looking at the car, this is how it'll sit. Power steering cooler, oil cooler, of course, and then just put these little kind of braces just to keep it from flexing or anything. Just additional structure, whatever. So just powder coat this black. Should look good. Let's put it together. All right, here it is. Not very easy to see. It's pretty tight up against the radiator. It's about a 1/4 inch, which is fine. I don't think that's a big deal. Let me get out of the car. So it clears the radiator, the power steering. I mean, it's tilted up. I mean, in a perfect world, it'd be, I think, vertical, but I think there's going to be enough airflow underneath here. It's going to serve a purpose. It's one of those things where I'm just going to have to find out. If I need to lower the back end, I probably can. But at this rate, it's pretty much ready to plumb. I'm good with it. So moving on to the next project. All right, so remember that roll bar that I built custom flanges for to bolt in? Well, it's going to be really pain to get things in and out of the back of this car. Like, I plan on putting a speaker back there, maybe an amp. Make it functional. So the crossbar is going to have a disconnect. And then I went a step further, and we're going to do disconnects above the interior floor of the car. So you guys got a sneak peek of these, I think, a couple of videos ago. I got these off eBay. I think they might have been $25 a piece or $60 for a pair. I cannot remember. Or something like that. I got 4 of them for $100. Either way, it all pretty much adds up. Anyways, problem is I didn't know the wall thickness of the pipe. So I know it was 1 3/4 inches, but the wall thickness was a little thicker than I anticipated, which is good. But that means I have to modify all of these tapers. So that's what I'm doing now. All right, here we are. Tapered's corrected to the extent that I can just burn these in. So let's get started. All right, not horrible prep, but ready to burn in. One more. So if I weld, this is the front. If I weld this in, then I have to wedge the cage between the mounts. I don't have to worry about anything constructing me this way or obstructing me this way, in or out. I just have to fit it between the pieces, and then I'll orient. I'm going to weld these in and then put these going through the opposite side. I'm going to use longer bolts, of course, but yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. All right, back to work. All right, before I go tacking anything in, I just obviously got these things prepped, ready. I went ahead and bolted them in place where they're gonna be. This is a fabricated piece, okay? This is not a bracket that you can buy from anybody. This is some scrap metal from those rocker inserts I bought from, I can't even remember who, but when I was doing the original birdcage repair. So anyways, just kind of manipulated those, fabbed those up. Took the old plates off the old cage, and anyways, so I'm getting this mocked up. I have them both in place, snug down where I want them to be. So before I tack anything up, I went ahead and marked and drilled my hole for my interior panel. It needs a little bit of massaging, but all in all, I'll put, obviously some flanges on here. So it's removable, but generally speaking, this is the game plan. It's gonna work out just fine, I think. So we'll make the actual keyway in line with each other so that this whole thing can just slide in place. And it should be, should go right back where it is based on what where I cut everything, and should miss my halo. Oops, sorry guys. So let's do a little bit more fitment, get this thing mocked up, and see what we can get this thing done with. All right, here's the dry fit. I mean, from like a fabrication standpoint, it looks pretty cool. Everything matches. Can still get latches open. Sorry, latches open. Sorry, hard to see. Yeah, so we'll double check with the torpedo, and make sure it's where it needs to be, and we'll tack it in and pull it out. I mean, I may weld it all up in here, for God's sakes. I just make sure it doesn't move. So anyways, let's see what she looks like. All right, little side note. Each one of these weighs between 3 and 4 pounds. There's 6 of them. Okay, 3 times 6 is 18. 4 times 6 is 24. My guess is that this is an extra at least 20 pounds. Because this thing is freaking ridiculously heavy now. only because really I added those couplers. So just keep in mind, you guys are gonna do this or do something fancy, like I call it fancy. It's heavy, it's all heavy. Let's do something even fancier. All right, let's burn it in. All right, folks, this is it. That's all she wrote. It'll look good when it's powder coated. I mean, nothing's 100% straight. I mean, it's solid. It's burned in really well. I was more worried about plumb and level versus making sure that any of these were 100% at 90 and angled correctly. I mean, the fact that this thing's been cut a few times and it's rotated. I mean, hell, when I cut this, it was sprung and it bound real bad. So that's even with bracing. I didn't have the bracing up high enough. Anyways, long and short of it is that this thing looks really cool. If I need to get things in and out, I can take this bar out. It's still functional. It's still structural. It'll still help save my life if I roll this fiberglass pop can. Other than that, I can do the install really easily without tearing up the car. If I want to go on a road trip, I can pull this thing out. I'll have all the room in the world. So anyways, I kind of avoided doing this, but I think at this, this project's growing, and I keep making the comment that I've come this far. Why wouldn't I just do those little things that I was wanting to do? So anyways, this is one of the last ones. So to recap, the last 3 months worth of projects was fabbed intake, lid, core support, mold. All right, turned out really nice. That's ready for powder coat. I've got my oil cooler relocated. I think cooling's gonna be fine. There's plenty of room between the condenser and the actual air intake box. Pretty tired, sorry guys. I've got my roll cage that is 100% ready for powder coat. And then late last week, I buttoned up these bad boys, which are my seat mounts for my Kirkies. So those are 100% fabbed from scratch. There's nothing out there that I could have used, I think. But I got sliders that were fit to these. Oh my gosh. And that's almost it. I think I've got a shim to build for the pinion angle, the diff. And then I've got this rear pinion or rear diff case tie down mounts. So I gotta build this. Which, next thing's on the list, I gotta get this back on the lift and take it apart and button up a couple of loose ends, nothing crazy. I can work on that. I can work on the pinion shim, and I can take all this stuff to powder coat and just, man, I'm getting close to body work, close to maybe getting this thing started.
All right, everybody, thanks for watching. Just making some real progress here, I think. Next on the list, I'm gonna start taking care of some things under the car that I've been needing to take care of. Rear diff, the diff cover hold down or tie down bracket, and then a pinion angle, shim, and a few other odds and ends. But anyways, thanks for sticking around. We'll see you guys on the next one. Subscribe, hit the notification buttons if you want. Either way, I'm gonna keep plugging away. Appreciate you guys watching. We'll talk next time. Thanks, guys.